Thank you for staying with us on Joy News Prime Time. Now for the sports, I'm Gary Al Smith. And in continuing with our coverage of the fallout or the stories of what is going on in reaction to the sports minister letting us know how much was spent for the African Cup of Nations, the minority in parliament was a detailed explanation on how much the Black Stars spent in Egypt. According to them, the itemized detail that was given today was not good enough.
What was presented to us today, apparently to them, because we're also hearing other figures, that that was what was spent. And so we will do our further work in terms of oversight, and possibly by the close of the week, we'll come up with what we think are findings also. The worry is how items have been lumped up together. We would want to know the breakdown of the figures as was called by myself and then the other contributors, so that we can then situate in terms of what the minister himself actually stated, that he is for three things, and one of which is value for money, and then we all then can speak to it. We want these figures at least breakdown for us to then understand, you know, what went into, for instance, the players, what went into those itemized line items. Those line items, about 6 of them. We would want to find out, you know, what by way of programs that have been outlined to be implemented, the figures associated with those programs and all that. That is what we do. That is why I think, just to speak the minds of the people out there, is that, yes, how much did it cost the taxpayer? And that is what we are responsible for by our oversight. And so we were there, we saw a few things, definitely we will not have hands-on in terms of the exact figures that were spent. And so we can speak to it. And I think the chairman also indicated that the committee will start doing some work. I'm just hoping that he will call a meeting as quickly as possible so we can begin to delve into some of the matters, whilst we're also looking out for those who will give us and feed us with some information so that we can also be able to, you know, see the real issues.
So he did mention a few things, Kobna Oyeme, there, that he thought that some of the figures were a bit too nebulous. Now, let's take a look again at the charts that I showed you earlier and try to make sense of what he's saying. Now, if you look down there on this charts and breakdown, remember that the Black Stars budget covers the camping in Dubai and the tournament in Egypt as well. Just a reminder, 6.3 million was the total budgeted, 4.5 million was the total spent. According to the sports minister, 1.3 million was the amount saved. And one of the key things was the line item called incidentals, where 42,576 was spent on, incidentals, also known as the unforeseen expenses. Now, 25% of expenditure went into accommodation as well. You can find this on myjoyonline.com and also on our Facebook page. In keeping with the AFCON, what should be the next step where the Black Stars are concerned? According to former national team player Joe Addo, Ghana should not repeat the mistakes in this one in subsequent tournaments.
I think the technical people have to look through to what has happened in the past. I think what we do in Ghana is just buckle up. If anything, something happens and we don't win anything, and we do a wholesale and new. I don't think it's a good idea. I think we have to look at our problems. Solve our problems, and continue from there. If it's a technical team, fine. If it's the playing body, fine. But we have to recognize where our mistakes are, see our mistakes, correct them, and move on, rather than making wholesale changes.
Is it time to do away with some of the players?
Difficult for me to say, because I'm not a technical person on the Black Stars. Personally, I think so. But I'm not part of the technical team, so I wouldn't know. What goes on behind the scenes, a lot of people don't know what goes on behind the scenes when you are with the players. There are some players you would think they are over the hill, but you see them in training and you look at your technique that you want to play and they fit in.
In all this, one of the key issues in the past year has been the performance of the normalization committee. It is they who have had oversight responsibilities of all football activities in the country. But how well have they engaged with the public? Kobna Mensah Woyome is here again and says, not nearly enough.
Sincerely speaking, they've not been engaging the public, and I've always indicated my frustration so far as that is concerned, because we need to know at whatever that is going on, at what stage are they, and maybe we can then appreciate what you're doing. And that I've spoken to the PRO, I've spoken to everybody that matters as far as their work is concerned, and they've even met us at a committee level, and I pointed a few things out. My chairman also did so, and members of the committee actually said, look, you are working for the public. You are working to normalize our game. Football is so dear to all of us. And tell us at each time, maybe every once in a month, engage the public. Once in a month, try to tell us what you're doing. Just tell us maybe some of your challenges. You might get people coming in to assist in helping to overcome those things.
So,
clearly, where we are now,
the rating, I think, maybe
out of 10.
Maybe 5.
Out of 10, you'd give them 5?
Yeah, maybe 5.
Okay.
Gives them a 5 over 10. What would you give your favorite European team's summer transfer window activity? I'll leave that to you. However, there's a lot going on until the window shuts in August. Atletico Madrid are asking La Liga to block Antoine Griezmann's registration for Barcelona. There'll be more on the transfer activity surely on our various channels. I'm Gary Al Smith, and that's the sport for now. The football show will be here at 10:30 with Hans Mensah Ando.